Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're like 3,000 shy. So hit subscribe, watch, but most importantly, share with your friends so that they're in the know because there's so much that's happening. All right. And from me, you're going to get nothing but the truth and the inside facts. I want to talk about over this weekend. California Republicans, well, they descended to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. Instead, imagine this, California is on fire. And instead of assisting their home state with these horrible fires and the damage that's going on there, they all just descend upon Mar-a-Lago. Now, Midas Touch, they reported on this, and I want to show you a photo. And this, all right, check this out. Thumbs up. Again, I don't take this down for a second. I want this picture to get drilled into your head. All smiles, everyone. Like this is fucking Fantasy Island. Smiles, everyone, smiles, right? As they're dining in Mar-a-Lago, thumbs up, smiling next to Trump. All right, drop that before I throw up. All right, this is not a joke. This isn't a happy, smiley time. There's over $30 billion. People have lost their lives. They're saying now it's well in excess of 22 people have lost their lives, and they're sending out today cadaver dogs in order to try to find people who nobody has heard from. The amount of the destruction, my own family who have, in the Palisades, the home, Gonzo. I mean, this is not a joke. I mean, this isn't a thumbs up situation. Now, I want to read something for you about what Midas Touch had written onto it. The entire California House Delegation was there except for David Valadao, who voted to impeach Trump after January 6th. They joined representatives from New York and New Jersey to discuss the SALT deduction. By the way, I'd like to see that come back. California Representatives Jay Obernolt, Tom McClintock, Kevin Kiley, Doug LaMalfa, Darrell Issa, Ken Calvert, Vince Fong, and Young Kim were spotted in a photo with Trump this weekend when they could have been back home seeking ways to help, even if the fire isn't in their district. This is really terrible. I mean, it's so easy, and they'd be the first one to criticize if it was Democrats that went over there, instead of going to their home state when their state is on fire. They do know how to criticize that the X so-and-so location is only 15% contained and it's not 100. They talk about fire hydrants not having water, that there's smelt, which is the families of fish that they're doing it in order, which is causing the problem with water. And instead of the water being used inland, that they're pushing it to sea. And so, by the way, none of that is accurate. All right. None of that is accurate. But while all this stuff is going on, this is what Trump was posting on Truth Social. Put it up. Trump was right. Don't take that down yet. Again, since we're talking fire, I want that post to burn into your memory. Trump was right. These people are suffering. They have lost everything. Forget about the home. Forget about their clothing. What about their memories? What about photos that you just can't get them back? Everything. Family heirlooms. This is just not acceptable. Let me show you the second one that went up. The fires are still raging in LA. The incompetent polls, meaning politicians, have no idea how to put them out. Thousands of magnificent houses are gone, and many more will soon be lost. There is death all over the place. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the history of our country. They just can't put out the fires. What's wrong with them? Again, I'll acknowledge part of that is not wrong. It is a horrible catastrophe. There is loss of life taking place. But the tone to which it's being said, it's almost like, yay, this This is great for me, bad for them. The beautiful homes that are lost. Imagine just the people that are surrounding Trump. Why are they saying nothing to him? You can't put out a statement like that. People are suffering, even if it's in a state that is blue. Forget about the fact that whether it's red, blue, purple, makes no difference at all. They're Americans, and you, sir, are going to be the president of all Americans in merely a week. Now, I want to show you some clips. You can't make this shit up. I want to show you some clips from Republican leaders discussing the fire. But first, I want to show you what Governor Gavin Newsom had to say to President Trump. Remember, all for the last couple of days since the fire started, referring to him as Gavin Newscum, and turning around and making things up and promoting falsities. Play the clip.
I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state.
And like I said, promoting this misinformation, this disinformation, just simply to shit on California and Gavin Newsom. Well, then oddly similar to what happened in 2020, Republican Senator John Barrasso was asked if he thinks GOP leaders will help LA locals even if they don't like their politics. Play the clip.
Can't happen again, and the policies of the liberal administration out there, I believe, have made these fires worse.
Do you expect, though, that Congress and Republicans will still help these Americans in need, even if they don't like their local politics and the party?
I expect that there will be strings attached to money that is ultimately approved, and it has to do with being ready the next time, because this was a gross failure this time.
Senator.
Gross failure in what way? Gross failure in what way? It's like saying that the hurricane that knocked out Sanibel Island, for example, that's the gross inadequacy of, Governor, DeSantis. I mean, it's a natural disaster. And as Americans, we're supposed to lift each other up, not try to push them deeper when they're already suffering. Terrible. I mean, just absolutely horrible. John Barrasso, there's something seriously wrong. I get it. They want to stay on Trump's message. They want to blow sunshine up his ass. No, we're all American. It's, again, speechless. And I want to show you now what Senator Bill Hagerty had to say. All right. First, he said that the fires were a failure of leadership as well. Play that clip.
California funding and aid that is needed. Has this been a topic of discussion? How will you and the rest of Congress deal with this?
Well, it certainly is a topic of discussion, Maria. And at this point, we still don't know the full extent of the damage, and we may not know for some time. But what we can see is the failure of policy there and the failure of leadership in California that's been egregious. Whether it's Gavin Newsom prioritizing some sort of obscure fish over his citizens, or whether it's a leader like Karen Bass, the mayor there, who prioritizes DEI initiatives over the readiness of first responders, it's absolutely pathetic what has happened there. And I think we're...
Really? Now you're into the DEI? We're talking about a Republican from Tennessee there who has no idea what he's talking about as it relates to California and the wildfires and the brush and so on. He's just parroting once again. And this is the danger. This is the danger that you're going to hear me talk about over and over and over again. It's the misinformation, the disinformation, the malinformation. And under no circumstances, zero, should it be coming from our commander-in-chief. Under no circumstances. Then he goes on to say that we have to hold our leaders responsible. And I totally agree. We need to hold our leaders responsible for things like misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Or if in fact it is their failings, absolutely. Play that clip.
We've got to bring accountability to bear here, and before we put funds into place, we've got to find out exactly how we're going to hold these leaders accountable and what sort of policy changes are required.
Well, that's...
Yeah, again, he's providing no legitimate response. Again, it's simply because Gavin Newsom is a Democrat. Is he going after him because the state, according to Trump, didn't vote for him? It's blue. Therefore, they're not entitled to the benefit that states that are red are. I promise you, this is not what he would be saying if, God forbid, it was happening in the state of Tennessee. It would not. Now, lastly, here comes the last moronic statement to emanate from that gaping anus under his nose. He goes on to say that Elon and Vivek and Doge, right, Department of Government Efficiency, that they have to get involved in these fires and they have to get involved in this entire scenario because it's all about government efficiency. Play the clip.
It's absolutely pathetic what has happened there, and I think we're going to have real accountability. We need to have hearings to understand, to get to the bottom of what's taking place, what the failures have been. Those failures, when we get a new FEMA director in, when Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk take a hard look at how we efficiently deploy, how we effectively deploy resources here, we're going to have to see some very real changes. I hope
No, it's not pathetic. You're pathetic. It's not pathetic. It's catastrophic. It's disastrous. But instead of showing just the slightest ounce of empathy for your fellow American, now let's just throw us into the laps of Elon and Vivek, right? Simply because everybody there in Washington is incompetent, that you need these two individuals to tell you how to make things more efficient. Seriously? None of this makes any sense at all. You take misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, you regurgitate it over and over, and everybody throws their spin onto it, and everybody else, the rest of us, are just sitting here scratching our heads, wondering, what are they going to do for California and the people who are suffering right now? I have no idea, but we're certainly going to find out. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.